Hey everyone, it's Ethan or Miist back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another video. Going to be talking about every movie I watched last week, and actually there's like 2 seasons of TV to talk about as well. So let's get into it, starting it off with the TV shows, which was Season 5 and Season 6 of Glee, which Mel and I finished Season 5 2 weeks ago, and we finished Season 6 this past week. And I never talked about Season 5, but I actually surprisingly enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to, because I've heard really bad things about 5 and 6. And 6, similarly, I also really enjoyed. It's actually one of my favorite shows of the season. I'd say it's in the upper half than the lower half, which is kind of surprising, actually. But, yeah, I actually ended up quite enjoying Glee a lot more than I ever expected to. This was not really a show I was looking forward to watching. And it took us a long time to get through Season 1 and Season 5. Even though I ended up enjoying Season 5, we just kind of stopped watching it during Season 5. But Season 1 was hard to sit through. And then after that, I really ended up enjoying this show. So shout out Glee, and it was a pleasant surprise. And finally, it was a long show that Mel and I finally finished. Because we are notorious for never finishing shows. We've started probably, 10 to 15 different shows, and the only ones we finished are Exo Kitty and Heartstopper, which are short seasons, short shows, and literally Mel's 2 favorite shows. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into the movies. Let's talk about what I watched last week, starting it off with my least favorite, which is also one of my themes of the week, which was also one of my goals of the year. I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, of course, from the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise. And this is definitely the worst one in my opinion. This was my 450th movie of the year. This felt super low budget, and honestly, I didn't even hate the low budget feel to it, but I hated the editing. That is not something I could enjoy on a rewatch, so I don't think this was something I would ever rewatch. But yeah, it sucks. 17 out of 100. Let's move on to Pan's Labyrinth. A foreign film from Guillermo del Toro, and I think I'm just coming to accept the fact that I'm not a big fan of his movies, and I did not enjoy this movie either. I didn't like The Shape of Water. I'm trying to remember what else I've even watched of his. I don't remember. Anyways, this is an interesting fairy tale, but I didn't enjoy it. And it took forever for me to finish this. It felt like the 2-hour runtime just felt like it was 6 hours. It felt like it was never ending. And yeah, no thanks. 51 out of 100. Let's move on to Hercules, which is a Disney classic. Over this past week, Mel and I went to trivia at one of my jobs, and it was the Disney themed trivia, so it was kind of fun, kind of I guess a part of the theme. And I didn't really care for Hercules much, to be honest. It was okay. Yeah, it was just fine. 58 out of 100. Let's move on to Trainwreck Balloon Boy. This is definitely my least favorite of the Trainwreck series so far. I don't know how many more of these are going to be honest. I don't even know if there's one coming out this week or not. But, yeah, 60 out of 100. Let's move on to I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which I also ranked to 60 out of 100, although I did enjoy this one more. I kind of like the feel of a tropical storm on an ocean island vibe for a murder setting, so that was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. And truthfully, I mean, I enjoy our lead character in Julie, so that helps as well. Carla was a nice addition as well in this movie, plus Ray, who I like. And, yeah. Let's move on to Time Cop. For some reason, I started this week with Jean-Claude Van Damme, a couple of movies of his, and I don't really know why. I've never felt the need to do that in my life until this week, I guess. But Time Cop was one of 2 movies from Van Damme that I watched this week. And, yeah, I mean, it was okay. It's a very interesting plot. Or not even plot, I'd say it's a very interesting idea, but I don't think it was executed terribly well. I don't think it's a bad movie. I thought it was pretty decent, actually. I just kind of thought and wished it would be better, because again, the execution of this idea could be really wonderful, and I like that idea, I guess. So yeah, 61 out of 100 for Time Cop. Let's move on to the other Jean-Claude Van Damme, which was Bloodsport, which was a nice hand-to-hand wrestling slash fighting slash martial arts combat movie with some enjoyable characters, some intimidating characters, and some pretty sweet action as well. Ranked at a 63 out of 100. Had a good time with it. Let's move on to the newest, I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I ranked a 67 out of 100, and I actually had a double feature. This, and then before this, I watched Jurassic World Rebirth, which we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, spoilers for this movie, of course. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Madeline Klein are interacting for like 2 to 3 minutes in this movie, and it's literally the best thing I've ever seen in my life, because they're literally two of my biggest celebrity crushes ever. So that's amazing, and that is literally that's gonna make me live for the next 6 months because I absolutely love that. This movie I was enjoying quite a lot, and again, spoiler alert. The twist at the end I enjoyed because Stevie as the killer made sense to me. Obviously, anyone's intention to kill is probably not a very good one, but I didn't mind it, and I enjoyed Stevie. But the addition of Ray joining onto this was really fucking stupid, and that really pissed me off, and I lost a lot of points for that. I didn't vibe with that decision at all. And I've mentioned this before, sometimes a movie has an extra twist just to add a twist, and I don't think that needs to happen. I don't think Ray needs to be one of the killers in this case, so that's really silly, and I don't know, I thought that was really dumb and a poor decision. And again, it's not often where I don't like the direction a movie goes into, but I didn't really enjoy that, so that kind of sucked. But obviously they're teasing another one. There's going to be a 5th one by the sounds of it. I'm looking forward to that, because overall I enjoy this franchise. So let's move on to, like I mentioned, Jurassic World Rebirth, which honestly surprisingly good. I enjoyed this way more than I thought I was going to. Pretty much no positive reviews about this movie, which really sucks. I think this is a good movie and I enjoy it. One of my favorite things about the Jurassic franchise is the moments of blending, super intelligent and beautiful scenery with these beautiful scenes with a dinosaur. It's just like a scene of tranquility that is often masked behind an incredibly horrifying scene coming up, and I really enjoy those two sides. I enjoy the tranquil good side and the evil horrifying side. I enjoy both. I felt like this was one of the better tension building Jurassic World movies, and this is actually my second favorite Jurassic movie. Now, it's not anywhere near the first one, of course. Jurassic Park is the GOAT. That's not going to be touched. A big jump down to Jurassic World Rebirth, and then also I think Jurassic World and Jurassic Park 3, and then it's another big dip for the other 3 movies. So yeah, overall, this is a solid addition to the franchise. I enjoyed the cast, I enjoyed the dinos, and yeah, I had a good time with it. 71 out of 100, and like I said, a double feature at the theater, which I enjoyed. So let's move on to I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original, which I enjoyed. I seem to enjoy more than most people. Ranked it a 72 out of 100. You probably actually can't see Betty just jumped up there, but 72 out of 100. I had a good time with this movie, and there's actually a plot, and some horror movies don't really have a plot, and I enjoyed this plot. I enjoyed the twist, and I had fun with this movie. It was some good slashing, some good killing, and ultimately quite unique, and I like the fisherman. The fisherman is just kind of a cool concept as a horror icon, horror killer. So I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed this movie. 72 out of 100. Now let's move on to, I believe, the top 3, starting it off with Call Me By Your Name, which I ranked a 74 out of 100. It was good. The first probably hour or so of this movie, I was really loving it. I really love Luca Guadagnino's just flawless summer vibes in his movies, and this was no different throughout most of this, like 95% of this movie, 99% of this movie. And then I don't know, something just kind of changed, and I think it was really the love and the dynamic between our two leads, and Elio and Oliver, and I didn't enjoy that. And I don't know, it just kind of lost some points. I didn't really care for the ending a whole lot either. And I also learned that I should not like Armie Hammer, and I really liked Armie Hammer as an actor. And I learned yesterday that I should not be an Armie Hammer fan, so gonna have to stop saying that and stop supporting him, because that's some fucked up stuff. But yeah, anyways, rank this a 74 out of 100. It was good. Let's move on to my second favorite watch of the week, which was Sultan, which I'm sure many of you have never heard of before. This is an Indian/Hindi wrestling film, which is how I started my week, and this was so much fun. It really wants me to branch out my horizons a little bit more, and to, kind of dive deeper into the Indian film scene, because this was just a lot of fun, and I had a good time with this movie, and I really want there to be more wrestling movies. I don't find there's a lot of wrestling movies, so it's nice to kind of dive into a different culture and to dive into a different sport and film. So again, I enjoyed Sultan, and I had a good time with it. Ranked it an 86 out of 100. Like I said, one of my favorite watches of the week. A foreign film as well, and a lot of fun. A great soundtrack. This is also a musical wrestling film, which I really loved. And this, don't get me wrong, this is not for everyone, but I really enjoy this movie. 86 out of 100. And then let's move on to my favorite watch of the week, which was There Will Be Blood. And I mean, to no surprise, I guess who wouldn't have this as one of their favorite movies of all time. It's not one of my favorite movies of all time, but it does house my favorite acting performance, and well, maybe not my favorite, but definitely the best. This simply is the best acting performance I've ever seen, and I see a lot of people say that. I don't think there's honestly much doubt or competition to go up against Daniel Day-Lewis in this movie, because it's truly a masterclass in acting, and this movie's really awesome. This movie's really interesting. This is a very lovely movie. This is a beautiful movie. I love the cinematography all throughout. It's fantastic. It's amazing. This is a gorgeous movie from any way you look at it. A terrifying and haunting score, which adds to the quality of the film. And yeah, this is a great movie. Ranked an 89 out of 100, and I would really like to rewatch it, because I do feel like this will become will be much higher if I rewatch it. So with that being said, that's everything for this week, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.